I'm Renee the Appalachian Stitcher, and welcome to my floss tube. This is a channel about cross stitch, all things cross stitch. I love all the things. I love all different kinds of cross stitch. I love fabrics, I love flosses, I love retreats, I love stitching with friends, I love stitching gatherings, I love stitching by myself. I love stitching. And I wanted to come back after being gone for almost a year. Oops, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. 2024 was a rough year for me. I'll just get this out of the way real quickly. My little stitching buddy that you often see on my videos, my little Sphinx kitten, she passed in July. Suddenly, she was 4 years old. The vet thinks that it was possibly a blood clot. So we lost her unexpectedly, and that was tragic for our family. She was our little baby kitty. That's what we called her. Her name was Darcy. Lost her in July. And then at the end of July, I found out that my dad had stage 4 cancer. It was in his liver and in his lung. And 4 weeks later, he passed away. It was very fast. It was very unexpected. And it was very tragic. So 2024 was not my year. It was my grieving era, which I do not recommend. So I'm glad to get past 2024 and all of the new things, all the holidays and birthdays and all those types of things that come. And if you have lost someone and you've been through this process, you know that it's up and down and up and down. So I have my good days, I have my bad days, but stitching is my therapy. I can always go back to that. It keeps my mind occupied. I enjoy doing it. I love the process. And I wanted to share with you, to start off, let's dive right in, enough about that stuff. I wanted to show you my finishes. I want to show you my WIPs as a sort of WIP parade, bring the WIPs I'm bringing into 2025. I did get rid of a few. I didn't find them to show you the ones that I got rid of, but if you've been here for any length of time, you probably can guess. I can tell you, Heritage Sampler, gone. The other one was Shakespeare's Peddler, which I may come back to eventually, but the long Jenny's House, that one I did away with, and the other one was the Death Valley that I had a restart on. I just put it to the side. That's not to say that I won't go back sometime, but they are not active WIPs, and I can guarantee the Heritage Sampler will not come back. Whew, that one's gone. But I wanted to show you what I finished in 2024. And I did start a couple new things too. I'll show you. So let's go. The first thing I want to show you is I worked on and finished Ann Roberts. And this is the pattern. If you're ever looking for the pattern, this is what she looks like. It's a Hands Across the Sea. Samplers. And this one was so fun. It's on 40 count Buttercream Lakeside by Lakeside Linens. All my 40 I do 1/2, which I love stitching with one thread. And here is what she looks like. She is finished. I found that when I outline things, I took this to a retreat and I had all this border kind of outlined, and I could just fill it in. The grass I could just fill in, and I really am loving this one. So here she is. So that one was a big finish. I'd carried this one over several years. So she is finished. So she goes off the WIP pile. The next one I want to share with you is Modern Folk. It's both ways, but Modern Folk Embroidery. It is the Nordic Heart. This one I loved. I picked this one up at Stitch North. And it was Caroline had her Ever Totes. She had her little shop there, and so I bought the kit, and this is the kit with the floss, and I can't tell I'm not sure what this fabric is either, but anyway, I love it. I love monochromatic. So that was also a finish. So yay, that's 2. I'm gonna save these little small ones. They're not quite as loud, but the next one is a group effort. If you'll recall, I don't have the picture of this one because it was digital, but I did do a round robin with friends. I always want to say round Robert. Don't know why. I do not have a Robert stitching friend, but if I did, I could do a round Robert. I guess that's weird, but anyhow, round robin, which is when you take a pattern, you split it up, you pass it around, and everybody stitches motifs or parts of the pattern. So this was mine that everyone finished. She is a big girl. Let me try to get it to where you can see. This is by Vivsters. Oh, I hope you're getting that. I need to sneak a peek. Yeah, a little bit. This is by Vivian Powers. She is Vivsters on Etsy. And this is a Quaker sampler, I think is what it's called. Something like that. If you go online, you'll see. But I absolutely love it. This is B5200 is the white. The Ada is Mystic. I think it's an 18 count. I have another project, a current WIP, that is also on the same thing, but I love this. She big, but she is a stunner. So that, I count that as a finish. So that one's complete. She was a big girl. Next one up, Wildflowers. This one is by Kathy Barrick. If you've watched me before, I originally started it with the muted tones that are as shown, and then I had trouble with the fabric. It was supposed to be a 40 count, but it shrunk up, and I think it was higher or lower. It was small, so I couldn't see the holes. So I just went with an Ada, and I made her colorful. So this is my version of Wildflowers by Kathy Barrick. So there she is. She was fun to take to retreats and stitching events because I could outline her and it almost looked like a coloring page. And I just pulled colors from a stash, all DMC. And I love DMC if you're new here. I love the vividness of DMC. The next one I finished was Woof by Hands On Design. And this one was on a 28 count, beautiful beige, and it's a Witchold, which I do not love Witchold fabrics, but I did muddle through. And this one has dogs on it. This is for my friend Janine. Hey Janine, if you're watching, I miss you, girl. And instead of doing the block, I think what I'm gonna do is put it on a spool, a wooden spool, and maybe put a little tufted pin cushion on top so that I can put the little pins on it. And when I say I mean someone. I don't know if I can do that, but I will have it finished. But I think that's the idea that I think would be cute because I did not stitch the top and bottom. I had it at that point. So that's going to be on a spool. And I think that'll be cute. There's that one. Next up is Lydia R. Cohagen by Blackbird Design. This one's a fun one. When I stitch samplers or these types of charts and they have the name on them of the original person that stitched them, I always leave it off. I don't like putting other people's names on my stuff, even though they're the ones that did it. But here she is. And I love this one. So right now, I do not have anything right here. I think I'm gonna put my last name on there and maybe like established, you know, during when hubby and I were married. But I'm gonna personalize it somehow. But she turned out really pretty. She's on the call for, with the call for flosses. So that one I love. I finished this one. This is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is Lovebirds. All of these I may not have the info of the fabric, and you can always go back and look at my past videos where I probably told you. But here she is. Love birds. I thought that turned out really cute. Again, I like the darker fabric with the white. So that's turned out really cute, I thought. So there, that one is finished. This one is a small, here's some small ones. Let me do this last kind of larger piece. This one has an interesting story. This is the Prairie Schooler Prairie Garden, a Prairie Garden. This chart I've had in my stash for a long time. I've always loved it. But I went to the Scrap Exchange in Durham, North Carolina, and if you don't live in the area or have never heard of it, it is like it's full of people's crafts, like abandoned crafts, and then like craft materials, and it's a recycled nonprofit. You can go in there and buy scraps of fabric and paper goods and yarns and all the fun things. And every now and then when I go, I find cross stitch. So I actually found, the chart was with a project that if I have a picture of what it was, or maybe you can look before or in past videos of what it looked like before. I found a project that already had the blocks already outlined, and one block was almost complete. And I took it and I did all the work. So when I first got it, all the blocks and then all of this, but maybe like 2 little flowers were completed. And the stitcher, the original stitcher, stitched opposite of the way I cross my X's. So originally I was like, well, I will just cross my X's the way that the original stitcher did. And then I quickly realized, no, I don't like that. And I found myself crossing. So to be consistent, this block and that block are stitched the same as the borders, and then the rest of them I just crossed the way I did. But I think that the colors are just gorgeous. It's so much better in person. And this is on just I'm gonna say like a Rustico Ada, you know, that like natural fibery feel. So I took this one. So I like to think that the original stitcher and I, you know, got to join our love for needlework and came out with a beautiful project. So that is that. The next little smalls, or next little ones are smalls. I did Regal Eagle. This is a kit, and I modified it somewhat. This is small, but I put my name on it, and I left off all the, I don't know, did I have a border? Yes, it had a border. Left the border off. I thought that would be cute to put on a, possibly, call me crazy, but I want an apron. Like, I want a stitching apron. And is that even a thing? I know that other people craft with stuff, but I think that would just be like a cute, like almost like a name badge on an apron. I may do that. I don't know. I may not, but if not, it'll go on a bag, like a stitchy bag. The next one is a teeny tiny. I did go out and meet with friends in November in Portland. We went for our own little stitchy getaway. And so I did get to go to Acorns and Threads. And while I was there, we went to Washington, Oregon, and California. My husband came along with me, and we went and visited a lot of the national parks. It was snowing at Crater Lake, like 3 or 4 feet of snow on the ground. So that was kind of a fun thing. We went to the redwoods, and they were magical. That's probably been one of my most favorites. But here's what it is, and here is the finish. I have a travel tree that I put up every year at Christmas time. So this will be finished into a little mini ornament. And on that same theme of little smalls, this is Screen Door Needleworks. I got this at Stitch West one year. I love it. She signed it for me, which was so sweet. This is Utah. She also had Florida, so I did the Utah one. So I'm gonna turn into an ornament. Florida, I'm gonna turn into an ornament. I'm gonna save the rest of this fabric, and I have the Colorado, is the other one I think that I have that I want to do. And last finish is my one and always. This is Heart and Hand I just chose a fabric. I don't even know what it is as far as color. I think it was just a scrap that I got somewhere. And if they're not the called for colors, they are adjacent to them. But here's my finish, and I had the little beads and stuff with it. So I'm really thrilled with all of my finishes this past year. Now, on to WIPs. If you're new here, I usually have very quick videos. So first up, Tea by Mirabilia. This is my first Mira. I started it on my birthday, not last year, but the year before, I think. I have not made too much progress on it, but here she is. She is wrinkled, but I just started making it up to her back on the skin. I'm just doing it tent stitch. And I love this project. I'm getting back to it. I'm going to Queen City. Shout out to Queen City Retreat. I love it. Maggie, Kitschy WIPs, and Amy Fiber Arts. Amy, they put on a fantastic retreat. And I got into this one, coming October, got into that one, and it is a Mirabilia retreat. So that Mira will be going with me, and I possibly will be starting a new one. So yay for that. Next up is a WIP. This is by Modern Folk Embroidery, The Fruits of Plenty. This is going to be on 18 count Mystic Ada by Picture This Plus with the B5200. So this is the one I was telling you that I had a WIP of that is similar to the other one as far as the colorway, because I love it. And this is where I am. I have so few WIPs. I'll say few. If you are a monogamous stitcher, then you're going to be like, no, that's not few. But I always have under 20. Now I don't even know if I have 10. You can count them up. But I'm going to try this year to put a focus on my big projects per month. So I'll show you when I get to the one I'm working on in January. I'll show you. This is going to be on the docket. So 1 month I will, and it's big. This is as far over, but she goes down. So I love this one. And it's interesting because you're stitching kind of the inverse, or the, I can't think of the word, you're yelling it. You know what I'm talking about. But like the opposite of the pattern, so you're stitching like where there's not. So my mind has to get flipped. Next WIP that I have, Cardinal Points. This is a Long Dog sampler. This is on just a 40 count white linen with the called for Gentle Arts. I had the pack. That's that. And here is, and I do have a dangling thread. So you just have to kind of ignore that, but here is where I am on that project. I love this one. This one's so colorful. It's so fun to work on, which is the repetitive theme. If you don't like what you're working on, change it. Change it. It's a hobby. Do what you love. Now, if you're a model stitcher, I would not recommend doing that. The designer may not love that, but if it's your hobby, you ought to love everything. So I do love this one. It will be coming out. This is My Dear Hearts. This is by Blackbird Designs. This one is on 40 count Hog Bristle by Fox and Rabbit with the called for thread, or I think I'm using I think it's mostly the called for, if not the DNC equivalent for some. But she looks like she's so big, and here she is on 40 count. This is this is the whole side, and I'm almost down to the bottom, so she's little. If you can see that, I hope you can see that. And she's pretty. So I'm excited about getting to that one. This one's gonna be my February, since it's hearts, Valentine's Day, and love. This is gonna be my February thing to work on. Next one up, the Blue Flowers, Happy Campers. This one is on 40 count light mocha, call for threads. This one's gonna be my March when I go to the camping retreat in March. February, I'm going to the Barefoot Needle Art retreat in Myrtle Beach, Surfside. And then usually in March I go to the camping retreat. So this one will go with me. It is so wrinkled and I apologize for that. But I try not to iron if I don't have to. But there is some progress on this since you saw it last. If you recall, I did not have any of this done. I almost have that finished, the words. So she is coming along nicely, if you can see. But that border, I love the border. So that one will be a focus in March. And here, the last, no, not the last one, the last big one. This is my focus this month. This is the Houses of Hawk Run Hollow. This one is not one I'm going to finish anytime soon because I have so many things going on. But this is on 40 Count Eggnog by Color and Cotton. This is Carriage House Samplings is the designer, which is Kathy Barrick and her sister, Marty. Like I know them. I don't know them. I have met Kathy before, but anywho, I finished that block and I was working on this block last time you saw it. So I did finish block 4. Let me just give you a little, here's 1, 2. And I am omitting all of the words. I will go back and, except for this, obviously I put my name on it. And then I am on block, right now I'm working on block 5. So I will work on this the rest of this month. And then I'll switch projects. I love this one, love it. I think it looks so good. And I think on the end, instead of like, I don't like all my rotten bones and all this stuff. This doesn't appeal to me. I've seen where people leave the words off and put where they've lived, different states. I might do that down here in the corner because my husband and I have moved a lot. So I have several states that I could put in there. So that's that one. That's that one. I started 2 new ones. Let me reach across here and show you these. These were while traveling. There was a kit when we went to Thomas Jefferson's Monticello. That's what I want to say, but Monticello. This was the kit name. It was sold in the gift shop, and I thought it was so cute. I'm not going to do the ABCs around it because I don't like that on samplers and things. So let me put this behind us so you can see. It's on Ada, and I've just been stitching along. But I think that would be cute on since we did visit, we took our little grandson with us, and it was his first time there, so I have pictures of him. And I'll make that into a little ornament. And then this one is not a small. This one I got at Acorns and Threads. I've been wanting this one for a while. I love flowers. Floral Motif Sampler by the Scarlet House. This is on Weathered Stone, 20 Count Ada. It's a Rogue fabric. And this is Some Start. Are you ready? Wow, look at that. Woo! I wanted to start it in January. I didn't start on the 1st, but like maybe the 2nd or 3rd. That was my new start. So I did get stitches in on it. That's my WIPs, y'all. That's all my WIPs. So thank you for coming and visiting with me. I hope that you did not have heart palpitations when you saw the notification come up that I actually put a video up. I hope to do these regularly again. I don't know if it'll be monthly. We'll see. But I do want to start sharing my love of cross stitch again. It brings me joy. I love watching you. I love all the people that have come into my life because of this little channel. You know who you are. I love y'all. I love watching you. And I hope you're having a great stitchy year, beginning of the year, and that you have a great and healthy year this year. So I am signing off. Floss tube out. See you next time, y'all. Bye.